Hello. So, a video on what I do with maintaining my vehicles. Let me just find the key, which I've lost. This is normal. I'm always losing the keys. I don't know if this is the right key. No, it's not. I take it all back. I know where the right key is. Actually, that one might work. Sometimes with Ford Transits, the keys work for the other ones. Anyway, as you can see, I've got 1, 2, 3. So my first Transit, I've only really ever had 2.2s. Was the same size as that one, but it was on way more mileage. That one's on about 140,000, and my one was on 300,000 when I got rid of it, which was a mistake. I shouldn't have got rid of it, but it had a lot of rot. I was busy at the time. Hold on a second, let me just get this bonnet open. I was busy at the time, and yeah, it was what it was. So I'm going to try and show you. This is my 170,000 mile shed. Literally, it's just a shed at the moment. It's going to scrap, I think. There's too many problems with it. I can't be bothered with it. And I won't regret this one. There's a big story behind it I may have explained in other videos, but we won't get into that. I was ripped off royally, and it's my own stupid fault. Anyway, so what you want to do is basically the running of these engines is massively down to the mixture that is done, same as any diesel engine, common rail, especially because they're high pressure systems. The situation with this one is it's the non-DPF Euro 4, and it's got your map sensor here. It's just one Torx, maybe a screw or something. This one is usually, if it hasn't been out for a very long time and it's got rusty, this is the one that usually snaps. What I do is a bit of WD-40 hour before and be real gentle with it. Just nick it slowly until it loosens. That usually is a bit of a git to get off. You just press that down and off it comes. Well, I can try and show you. Literally just press that down, wiggle it about a bit, and off it comes. The next one, you can't really see that. Let me take the pipe off and you'll be able to see. A pipe that comes off the turbo. So you've got this sensor here. Now there's usually a big box here. The box then runs to this pipe, which runs to the turbo over there at the back. You probably can't see. This one here is 2 Torx or whatever. They're usually not too bad to come out. This has a little pulley mechanism underneath. Actually, this one's broke, but ignore that. Little pulley thing that you just pull out, and then you give it a wiggle, and off it comes. Take that out, and this is the one that you want to use switch cleaner or MAF sensor cleaner, because you don't want to leave a residue on that. What that does, it sends an electric signal through it, and dependent on how cool it gets, yada yada, it sends different signals. So you want that to be completely clean with no residue on it. So I do that. When I've got the MAP sensor out, the first one I shown you, with that one I usually spray a little bit of carb cleaner into the hole, because the end of the EGR valve pipe runs to there, so if you're not blanked on your EGR valve, it gets really coked up in there, and then when you start the van it'll probably run a bit rough for a second, maybe pop and bang a bit, and don't worry too much, that's just the crap moving. I mean, I'm not advising to do that in a way, because that's not really the best way to do it, but yeah. What else do I do? There's not a lot else actually. That's sort of it. I put a bottle of Red X in to, well, half a bottle is probably better to maybe 3/4 of a tank. Half to 3/4 of a tank, half a bottle. It's a pretty good mix. Red X is excellent stuff. I've saved a lot of vehicles with Red X over the years. So you just put that through the system, take it on a good long drive. Do not let it settle in your tank though. Always make sure that you're driving far enough to get it all out of your system and refresh with fresh diesel afterwards. Because you don't want to leave that just sitting in your system just in case it decides to drag any dirt through or anything off the bottom of your tank. And yeah, I can't actually remember. This video is for someone, just in case anyone else watches it, and I can't remember what the problem was with their vehicle. But yeah, try that. If that doesn't work, then message me and we'll see if I've had the problem before and how I fixed it, because as you can see I've got transits everywhere in my ruddy life, so you never know. But yeah, see what you can do. And if anyone else is watching this and wants to know what the hell I'm talking about, basically running issues with transits, I always start with the basics. First thing, fuel filter housing. Fuel filter themselves, what I've just said on this video. And then the next thing, if you've got Hunty idle or it's stalling at junctions and things like that, you might notice here I've got nice new shiny parts. Well, this one is a decent one. I bought this from Parts Place. This was a cheap eBay one. That's a suction control valve, and that's a pressure release valve. Suction control valve sends the fuel, the pressure release valve is sending it back to tank type thing. And then you've got your rail sensor here. Now, I've never had a rail sensor fail as far as I'm aware, unless I'm forgetting. I might be forgetting, but I don't think I've ever had one fail. But it's always worth changing it if you can get to it anyway, while you've got the rail stripped down, because obviously every time you take the rail apart, there's chance of air getting in the system, and they are a nightmare. If you're going to mess with those valves, or anything on your fuel system, even if you're going to change your own fuel filters with a transit without a sender pump in it, I strongly advise getting a bleeding kit. Real cheap thing. Let me close this up, I'll show you the one I've got. You don't need anything fancy. In fact, you can just get the little bally plunger thing. I forgot what they're called. You can just get one of them and do it yourself, but it's better to get the kit because then you've got all the right fitments. I don't know where mine is. Is it in this one? No. I don't know where mine is. Anyway, you can get them on eBay. I think I paid something like 40 quid for mine. It was nothing, considering the amount I've saved by not having to worry and go to a garage, quite frankly. So you just want yourself a kit like this. And all you do is you connect this on. This pipe is usually the one that you use, and you go from the actual filter housing itself to the pipe. So you take the pipe that goes between the pump and the filter housing. You want to take it off at the filter housing side, and then you fit on, which way around does it go? So you fit the small pipe with the same end onto this end where the bleeder valve is, and this end goes on the, I don't know if you saw that, this end for that pipe, and then this end goes on the filter housing itself. And then what you want to do is, depending on how your system works, you'll see what you have to do. You want to bring that little valve as high as it'll go, so it's the highest point, and then just keep using the plunger nice and slow until it starts drawing fuel. Once it starts drawing fuel, you want to then start to get the air out. You can do it I usually do it with every plunge, and it just gives me that sense of rhythm. I have my own way of doing things, probably not right. And then once you've pretty much got all the air out, or all the air if you want to be perfect, you can then usually then start the vehicle. But if you're changing your fuel filter, you want to fill the diesel back up in the filter. You don't want to put in a empty filter, because the moment you get air in these diesel systems, they don't have a sender pump either, so you have to bleed it yourself, which is a nightmare. So yeah, that's that. And yeah, feel free to ask. I seem to have quite a good knowledge on these damn things now.